Why am I like this? Why do I scroll through images of women I'll never know, watching their bodies more than listening to their words? Why do I feel empty after every hookup? Why do I feel more lonely the more I chase? It's because real lust doesn't satisfy. It doesn't quench. It drains. See, they won't tell you this out loud, but lust makes you powerless. It makes you a slave in your own kingdom. A servant to your own cravings. A grown man reduced to instinct, reacting to curves and skin like a moth to a flame. No strategy. No clarity. Just hunger. And here's the part that hurts, she knows it. You think you're being slick. You fix your collar, you lower your voice, you throw around charm like it's currency. But you don't realize. Women are tuned into your energy the same way a musician is tuned into a note. She knows before you speak. Before you look. She feels when you're approaching from a place of lust. And when you do, it's not attraction, it's repulsion. You don't feel it because your mind's fogged up, but she does. Your energy says, I want something from you, not for you. That's what lust does. It turns kings into beggars. It turns warriors into clowns. It makes strong men weak. You ever notice that? You can lift weights, make money, wear a suit tailored to perfection, but if lust controls you, you're still hollow. It's in your eyes. It's in how you talk to her. How you stare too long. How you lean in too much. How you try to impress instead of just being. And she feels it. Because women don't listen to your words first. They read your spirit. And when your spirit is leaking power through every thirsty glance and fake compliment, it's over before it starts. You want her to respect you? Control your lust. You want her to feel safe around you? Transcend your urges. Because here's the raw truth, a woman doesn't want a man she can control. She wants a man who can control himself. But lust keeps you reactive. Like a leaf in the wind. You text her when she ghosts you. You overthink when she doesn't reply. You compromise your values just to keep her attention. That's not power. That's submission. And don't confuse that with love or desire. Love is intentional. Desire is sacred. Lust, when unchecked, is chaos. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a decision without lust involved? When was the last time you looked at a woman and didn't immediately measure her worth by what she could do for your pleasure? When was the last time you chose your purpose over your impulses? Most men never get there. Because lust is loud. It screams in your mind. It distracts you from your mission. It keeps you scrolling, swiping, chasing, fantasizing while your goals collect dust in the corner. You tell yourself you're chasing women, but really? You're running from yourself. And it costs you time, focus, energy, discipline. The most valuable currencies of your life. Traded for moments of dopamine. And still, you're unfulfilled. Still lonely. Still wondering why the girl you thought you impressed never texted back. Still blaming her. Still chasing another one just like her. Because lust doesn't teach you how to build. It teaches you how to consume. And real men? They build. They build legacy, purpose, love, direction. They know the power of saying, not right now. Of walking away. Of putting their energy where it actually grows something. But it starts with war. The war inside. You versus your lower self. And that's a hard fight. One that doesn't end overnight. One that'll test your discipline, your patience, your silence. One that'll leave you shaking sometimes because temptation doesn't come with warning signs, it comes dressed in your fantasies. But when you win that fight even once, you take your power back. When you walk into a room and women feel that you are centered, grounded, clear, they listen. Not just because you are attractive, but because your energy isn't trying to get something. It's offering something. Peace. Stability. Confidence. Lust makes you needy. Mastery makes you magnetic. So let me say it plainly. Lust is the chain. Discipline is the key. Purpose is the path. You can keep chasing what fades, or you can become what lasts. The choice is yours. He takes a deep breath. His posture straightens. As the light fades, his final words echo. Stop being a prisoner to lust, and start being the man you were born to be. You see, they don't teach us this in school. No one sits you down and says, son, if you don't master your desires, they'll destroy you. We're raised on music videos, Instagram models, and locker room lies. Taught that manhood is how many women you can sleep with. Taught that lust is a game, and the more you play, the more man you become. But let me tell you something. The real men, the ones who build empires, who live with peace in their heart, who attract real feminine energy, they're not out here chasing lust. They're moving with vision. Because if you're always chasing what's between her legs, you'll never lead with what's in your soul. Let's be real. You ever been with a woman and afterwards just felt empty? Like you got what you wanted, but you still lost something? You didn't take anything from her, you gave away your time, your presence, your energy. You were trying to connect, but you weren't connected to yourself. And women, real women, they don't want a man who gives himself to every woman who smiles at him. They want a man who knows his worth, who values his seed, his spirit, his silence. Because discipline is sexy. Focus is rare. Clarity is attractive. But lust is everywhere. And you gotta ask yourself, are you gonna be like every other man? Or are you gonna rise above the noise? You say you want to be powerful. Then start by learning to say no. Say no to the late night scrolling. Say no to chasing validation from women who don't even see you. Say no to draining your life force just to feel wanted for 5 seconds. That's the test. See, power doesn't shout. It doesn't beg. It doesn't chase. Power sits still. Power builds in silence. Power moves with intention. And when you walk in that energy, when you finally stop letting lust lead you, you'll notice something wild. The women come anyway. But not because you're chasing them. Because now, you're chasing purpose. And that energy, it's irresistible. You become rare. A man with a mission. A man who leads himself before trying to lead anyone else. A man who doesn't need to prove anything, because he knows who he is. So here's the challenge, brother. For the next 30 days, choose mastery over lust. Choose growth over impulse. Choose you over your weakness. Because at the end of the day, it's not about impressing her. It's about respecting yourself. He leans forward slightly. Eyes locked into the camera. Words heavy. Intentional. You weren't born to be ruled by urges. You were born to lead. To stand. To conquer your lower self. And walk like a king in a world full of lost boys. So next time lust whispers in your ear, remind it who's really in control. You know the truth most men never admit? Lust isn't about her. It's about you. It's about the parts of you that are empty. The parts of you that are searching for validation, approval, escape. You crave her body because you've abandoned your own soul. You chase physical connection because you've never built emotional stability. You want to conquer women because deep down, you haven't conquered yourself. See, lust disguises itself. It pretends to be confidence. It pretends to be love. It pretends to be fun. But it's really fear in disguise. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being enough. Fear of facing the silence of your own thoughts without a body to distract you. That's why you keep going back. Not because it fulfills you, but because it's familiar. Because as broken as it feels, it's what you know. And let's be honest, you've built your identity around this. Your masculinity is tangled in how many women you've had. Your self-worth is measured in attention, likes, late-night texts. But what happens when all of that stops? When she doesn't answer? When you don't perform the way your ego wants? When you're 45 and realize you never built anything real? Just moments. That's when it hits you. That all along, lust was a thief. Stealing your peace. Your time. Your purpose. You were out there chasing feelings, while your destiny sat waiting in silence. You ever notice how clear your mind is when you were not led by lust? When you were not watching porn? When you were not texting 5 women? When you stop pouring your attention into everything that drains you? You start to build again. You start to feel again. You start to see clearly again. That's no accident. Lust clogs your vision. It makes you think short-term. It makes you choose easy women over hard work, pleasure over discipline, fantasies over reality. But clarity, that only comes when you take your power back. And brother, this world fears a man with clarity, because he can't be sold fake dreams. He can't be manipulated with lust. He can't be distracted. He becomes dangerous. Not to others, but to the system that profits off his weakness. Now he speaks slowly, deliberately. The tone shifts from revelation to empowerment. You want to change your life? Start by closing the door to lust. Not forever. Not to love or desire, but to lust, the version that makes you forget who you are. Reclaim your thoughts. Reclaim your attention. Reclaim your spirit. Because when a man is no longer moved by lust, he moves the world. So don't just listen to this and move on. Apply it. Delete the distractions. Control your eyes. Choose solitude. Heal what you've been running from. Because everything you want, peace, respect, purpose, legacy, it all begins when you say, no more. She doesn't make you weak. Your lust does. Conquer that, and you become unstoppable. Subscribe. Share this with a brother who needs the truth. You want to know the real tragedy? Most men never see their full potential. Not because they weren't capable, but because they couldn't stop chasing what didn't serve them. You think lust is harmless? It costs more than you realize. It costs you your time, scrolling, chasing, fantasizing. It costs you your energy, always thinking about who, when, how. It costs you your drive, because instead of working on your goals, you are working on getting attention. And worst of all, it costs you respect. From women. From the world. From yourself. Because deep down, even you know, you're not moving like a king. You're moving like a man begging to be seen. And that's not power. That's pain. And here's what nobody tells you: lust will never love you back. You'll give it your thoughts, your nights, your discipline, your dignity. And it will give you nothing but regret. It won't hold you when you're broken. It won't help you grow. It won't pray for you, build with you, or fight for your vision. It only takes. That's why you feel tired. That's why you feel stuck. That's why no matter how many bodies you touch, you still feel alone. Because lust doesn't connect. It consumes. Listen to me carefully. You weren't made to live like this. You were made to build. You were made to lead. You were made to rise. And that version of you? He's not addicted. He's not distracted. He's not chasing things that fade. He's laser-focused. Rooted in purpose. Feared by the world because he can't be moved. But to become that man, you have to bury the one you've been. You have to lay him to rest, the one who settles for lust over love. The one who seeks pleasure over purpose. The one who hides his potential behind temporary highs. You have to kill that version of yourself. So the real you can be born. Reclaim your power. Because the moment you stop bowing to lust, you'll start walking like the man you were always meant to be. Lust is the weapon the world uses to keep men small. Discipline is the sword that sets them free. Subscribe. Share this with the man who's ready to become unstoppable. More truth is coming. You made it this far. That means something inside you knows. You were made for more than this. You feel it, don't you? That ache in your spirit. That quiet voice saying, there is more to you than this. That's not guilt. That's your higher self. Calling you. It's not judging you, it's inviting you. To wake up. To let go. To rise. Because deep inside every man is a king. But the crown is heavy. And it cannot sit on the head of a man still bowing to lust. You want to lead? You want to be respected by women, admired by men, and trusted by the universe? Then you have to earn it. Not through chasing bodies, but through mastering your spirit. Here's what they don't teach us growing up: masculinity is not about control over others. It's about control over yourself. You don't need 10 women to prove you're a man. You need one mission. And the discipline to follow it without distraction. That's how kings move. With focus. With grace. With power that doesn't yell, it radiates. Because when you walk in purpose, women notice. Opportunities open. Your name carries weight before you even enter the room. Why? Because your energy has changed. You no longer want the world, you lead in it. That's what happens when you stop giving your power to lust. You become present. You become calm. You become clear. And that clarity? That's the birth of legacy. So I ask you again. What kind of man do you want to be? A man who's easily seduced? Or a man who is so locked into his mission that the world can't shake him? A man who's constantly chasing? Or a man who's so rooted in his own value, he doesn't chase, he chooses? Because there is a version of you that you haven't even met yet. And he's waiting on the other side of your discipline. He's stronger. He's wiser. He's still you. But elevated. That man? He doesn't beg for love. He embodies it. He doesn't chase attention. He commands respect. He doesn't need to be validated. He validates himself with his actions. But you'll never meet that man if you keep giving your power to lust. *******, he pauses. Let the silence speak. Then delivers the final charge. So the next time lust comes knocking, ask yourself, is this worth trading my legacy for? Because every decision, every click, every text at 2 a.m., it's not just a moment. It's a vote for who you are becoming. So choose wisely. Because your future family, your future empire, your peace, your strength, your legacy, it all depends on the choice you make tonight.